Welcome to probably the last time we'll talk about the Gozuger situation until the show's over. And welcome back to another episode of In Case Break Glass. That's the podcast, the new podcast name I've decided on because I like the name. I like the idea of breaking glass in case of emergency, but I
Right.
needed to shorten it. So my friend suggested In Case Break Glass. So that's the new podcast title with me and Wyatt. Hi,
Sounds
I'm
good to me.
Buster. I'm Buster. That's Wyatt. All right, so more Gozuger shit happened. This week's episode aired.
Mhm.
From what I understand, it was originally meant to be episode 39.
Okay.
I
So they
haven't
skipped
watched.
over episode 38, which would have been Sumino
Yeah,
related.
and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yes.
That episode preview, we that episode preview did leak by accident, so we did get to
Mhm.
see like a part of the original cut. From what I understand, I think I saw a couple of the 38 clip in the 39, like the preview they released as like a promotional thing. It was like, yeah, the 30. I don't know. It's weird. So
Okay, yeah.
so the editing is already um apparently the series is already in heavy reshoots. Like I know
Mhm.
some people are speculating, like, wait, have they been had they fire Maya before? No, I can guarantee you, like from what I understand and seeing of the actor's social media, this is a very last minute thing. And that's why their solution, Toei's band-aided solution to this unfortunate mess is a recast. So the part of Sumino will now be played by, let me get the name, Kohaku Shida, who previously played Oni's sister in Dawn Brothers.
Wow.
Um, Here's the thing. I
Uh-huh.
think she could pull it off based on Dawn Brothers. Like, and
Okay.
she's also has much experience. It's less about right now. I'm less thinking about how she pulled it off, and more just like, and like
But
this is a
the
and just
ethics or morality of the situation,
yeah,
like
like honestly, it's like it kind. I think creatively, if I'm telling a story, this is probably the best bet. But like in terms of the situation, it's like, damn man, it's like I really like.
Mhm.
I still feel bad for Maya. Like it just like
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
yeah,
This
it's
is
gonna be awkward.
this in my opinion, despite being I don't know, maybe one of the better things they could have done is still not a good solution.
Yeah,
Because of obviously in my opinion, I think the best solution would be not to fire her, and or to bring her back in, but obviously that they just can't do that for whatever reason. People have talked about it being related to like the agency and things like that.
likenesses.
Yeah, exactly. Like it isn't like Toei trying to scrub her from existence because they think that she's a deplorable wretch on society or whatever. It's because they legally cannot have this person's face appear on any of their like merchandise or things like
Yeah,
that going forward.
Ultraman
It's
Tiga comes to
mhm,
mind because that was a big thing with like post series Ultraman Tiga with
yeah.
Daigo, the main protagonist of that show.
hmm And it's not exactly the same, obviously, but it's related to copyright law, so it makes me think of something like, oh, there's a reason why in Kingdom Hearts 1 you have the Tarzan level, but you can't have it in any other Kingdom Hearts game because they don't have the rights to the Edgar Riceborough estate,
Yeah,
so they can't have that's like the one Kingdom Hearts 1 level and an idea that like is isolated in that game and
mhm.
it can't appear anywhere else. Uh, but they can still sell that game and still have that, you know, they can still make money off of that, like those prior things. So all the prior episodes are fine, but anything else that comes out after this, they're not allowed to have Maya Imamori's face on it. So obviously, you talked about, I think the situation is just so sad and ridiculous.
Yeah,
And this is like better than if they had just like killed her off, you
yeah,
know?
because
Uh,
like at least the character will still exist, maybe in a different way, maybe in like a weirder
mhm,
way, like definitely a more awkward way, but it'll
right.
still be like that they will be able to finish the story creatively. It's
hmm
it's still a bullet hole on the
Yes.
like show, but like this is probably not the best way they could, because there's not really a best way you can do this.
Yeah,
There's
that's what I'm
not
thinking. It's that it's like
like
this is probably the best way, but it's not a good way either. It's not like
yeah,
because there's you want like more justice for the person, but
yeah.
unfortunately, that's just not how it shook out. It does remind me of like Hana as well from
Den
Den
yeah, I saw
O.
a couple people referencing that when I was sharing the news article around, where it's like they
Hmm.
got like the little kid to do her for a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, there's things that they could have done. It's weird because it almost makes me wonder, like, oh, could they have done something where like she was put to sleep and then Oto, like, then she becomes, Goju
I
Unicorn or
think I
whatever.
think my thing
Uh,
with Oto is that she's a very one note character, and
yeah,
the like, but and I get like people wanting that like the reverse and like,
hmm.
but I just like with like everyone in Gozuju, like the team chemistry is already so like nuanced by this point. We're in the
Yeah,
final arc of the show.
uh
They've
huh.
like built up a rapport that like just throwing in like this one note character to like I get
Hmm.
I'm thinking creatively right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
creatively and ethics wise, it's like kind of a different thing, but it's
Hmm.
like, it's a messy
Yeah,
situation.
I'm not saying I like that would fix it for me at all.
Yeah.
I did see some people like last week that were like, "Oh man, cool. Maybe they can have Oto. Oh, maybe like Bouquet will become
No,
Gosher
no.
Unicorn." And it's like, but that wouldn't actually solve anything. That would just like be
It
a
would just be like
band-aid solution.
it would be like a weird pivot. Like like
Yeah,
this is like they basically this is the best way to keep the story going, but like
yeah,
not
they'd have
have it
to
like
do a
left.
bunch of rewrites as well because
Yeah,
I doubt they want to rewrite these scripts. They already have to reshoot, which is
yeah.
ridiculous that they had to do that in such a short time frame to like reshoot
Yeah.
scenes and
There
everything.
is there is a rumor that Toei is billing all the reshoot funds on the agency because of
Okay.
like their
They
which
should do
I
that, honestly.
they should do that. I don't know if that's true or not, but like
Uh-huh.
honestly, that is very likely. I like again, Toei's just caught in this stupid crossfire. At least the production
Yeah.
staff. I don't know. I
Mhm.
get like I know they probably should have stand up for her, but it's like
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on in their brain. I don't know if they
I
like
think
were
it's
like caught off guard.
here's the thing. Anybody listening, it's fine if you don't want to, they're like, I don't want to finish watching the show. I don't want to watch
Yeah.
Zets, everything like that. But it's also fine if you are okay with continuing this stuff. Like nobody is going to come after you and say that you're, like a ghoul or whatever, like picking at
If
the
they are,
bones.
they're just being weird. They're just being weird, you know.
Yeah, like people, obviously people can be like that online, but you have the ability to just ignore these people and be like, well, if they think this of me, then their opinion never mattered anyway. They
Exactly.
never
Yeah.
really cared about me, etc. No, I'm not saying like I'm saying use your own discretion, not
Yeah.
necessarily like do it without sin, or without
Trust your
shame or
heart. Trust
anything.
your
Yeah,
heart.
trust your heart. If it feels bad, don't do it. If you don't want to continue watching the show, that's fine. If you do want to continue watching the show, either for just interest in seeing how this all plays out, or you're really invested in the show and you just want to see how it ends on that level, and you have like your, you know, Gozuger profile picture and Gozuger themed account, and you're just like really
Yeah.
excited to get to it. Like, I don't necessarily think that you're spitting on the career of Maya Imamori by continuing to support the show. I think if you were like making excuses for the show, if you're some of those people that are like, actually, it was really bad what she did, those
Yeah.
guys are
No.
fucking idiots. Those, like are just clueless ghouls and everything like that. So
Yeah.
just
It's a
yeah,
whole mess.
just some nuance for the the whole situation. Yeah, it has been a goddamn mess. I have seen though that there was like a new Universe Warrior cameo announced that was Koga from
Yeah,
Garo,
he
which is
plays the Deca Ranger. That's
yes,
pretty
which is
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think like, I'm gonna finish Gozuja again. I'm not gonna talk about. I'm not continuing Toku Talkers. We're doing other
yeah.
things from now
Mhm.
on. But I will finish Gozuger. I will do my big analysis video. I will mention the situation and like what I do, like, because what I usually do for my Sentai analysis videos is I go like character by character. So when
Yep.
that I get to Sumino, I will mention the situation and
Mm-hmm.
like I will
Mm-hmm.
say how bad it is. But like
Yeah.
it's I Gozuger, I love it a lot. I will not make excuses for its flaws, but like the good stuff to me is so good, and I know there's a lot of talented people working who aren't shitty heads or who are caught in this
Mm-hmm.
crossfire. That I'm
Yeah.
like, I wanna see it through to the end eventually. So
Mm-hmm.
I needed a break, but I will,
Okay.
like, once episode 40, I'll probably catch up with the quote unquote the darkened episodes, the tainted
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
episodes before the recast is in effect in episode 40. Also, episode 39 is a clip show, probably for the best.
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah.
like a straight up clip show of like just there's no new footage from what I understand. It's just like voiceover of Tomokazu Senki from the
Right.
Toei episode, just be like, "Hey, have you guys heard of these Universe Warriors? Let's talk about
Uh-huh.
it."
And that makes sense because, well, also like this is usually around the time that they do like their final recap episode in Sentai anyway. But so
Yeah,
it's not like complete.
they had to do it a little earlier. So
Yeah. So it just it's a little bit goofy because of this whole situation, but like yeah, it makes sense that they kind of like push that ahead and you know have that and everything. Just
yeah,
because, just to give them a little bit of time. Kind of reminds me of like 01, where it had,
pandemic. Yeah.
yeah, where they had like the pandemic episodes of like, Azu giving like, like hanging out in a room with like three people or whatever. So,
Yeah.
you know,
The true pandemic experience, from what I
yeah,
understand.
it's great.
All right, so that's hopefully our final. Like, I don't know if any other news will come out, like besides just the episodes coming out and us judging the episodes later.
Hmm.
Again, I'll talk about the show when it's all said and done. I'm just waiting for like, okay, just let me see the complete story before I make my final
Right.
judgment. All right. How have you been doing, Wyatt? I've heard you've been in your own discourse pile.
Oh yes. So as everybody knows, I'm a big Metroid fan. Or maybe you don't know. So let me introduce this concept. I'm a big Metroid fan, and Metroid Prime 4 specifically, I've been waiting a very long time for. Not just from when it was announced, but even before that, I was like eagerly anticipating it. Like basically ever since Other M came out, I was like the next Metroid game. That's gonna be Prime 4. It's going to be on the Wii U. Got a Wii U. Expected Prime 4 to be on it. Got Tropical Freeze instead. Still a great game. But Wii U, unfortunately, not that many games on the Wii U that I enjoyed. I think it was like Tropical Freeze, Splatoon, Pikmin 3. What else?
Mario 3D World.
Yeah, I didn't play it. I actually did not play that until the Switch version, but my
Ah,
brother, like, he bought it and he played it with like his friends and his at the time girlfriend, now his wife. Um, so like it looked pretty cool, but I'd never really played it. I did play through New Super Mario Bros. Wii U though, or
oh,
the New Super
that's
Mario Bros. U.
boring.
I know.
Boring.
Yeah. It's boring enough that I 100%ed it. And then
Oh,
when
like,
the Switch version came out and I was like looking at footage of it, and this is back in like 2018 or whatever when it came out, I was like, I don't remember any of this game. Like even though I like when people posted like the Starry Night like Van Gogh level, I was
yeah.
like, what? That was in the game? I 100%ed that game. Like I got all the exits, all the like, coins or stars or whatever in every
Yeah.
level. It was
That's
just
me with
very
3D
funny.
Land. That's me with 3D Land. I just
Yeah,
can't remember that shit. Anyway,
3D. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But just painting a picture real quick that like, yeah, got the Switch because there was an interview in 2015 with series producer Kensuke Tanabe, in which he was doing damage control for Federation Force, because the trailer came and people were very mad about that. Um, which he talked about that he still has plans for Prime 4. He gave us a couple ideas of what the plot might be about. He mentioned Silux, which had been hinted at at the end of Prime 3, And then next year, when Federation Force came out, also hinted at the end of that. He talked a little bit about the idea of wanting to do something like different time periods on the same planet as a gameplay mechanic, which we've not seen for Prime 4. So either, either that's a hidden mechanic or it's not in this game at all. But and the other thing that he mentioned then it was like, oh, I want to do Federation Force because I want to do a story about Silex and his hatred towards the Federation and Samus specifically. So I want them to be a big part of Metroid Prime 4. So obviously, like, years pass, Switch comes out, it's 2017, Prime 4 gets announced. I'm super excited. 2 years later, Prime 4 gets canceled. I'm very depressed. Gets rebooted, though, at Retro. So, and then 8 goddamn years later, or whatever, like, when was it? 2019. So 6 years after they rebooted it, is when we finally get the release of the game. And, when the first trailer came out, there definitely was some, people worried about it being a little bit too close to the original Prime games. It's not doing enough new. But obviously, it was just like the first like intro section of the game, like the first couple minutes of the game, where you're going through like that planet at war.
Yeah. Actually, like, I find it really funny how like I mean, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but like people are like, "Oh, it's not doing enough new," and look where we are now.
Right? That's what I want to like build up to. Is that like second trailer comes out, which was in March.
Yeah.
If you can remember all the way back to the pre-Switch 2 hype era, when this is when everything went wrong, by the way. Was with the Switch 2 Direct, was when everything went wrong for Nintendo. But at that point, got the new trailer, got to see the planet Viros, got to see the first area, which we now know is named Fury Green. We got to learn about the psychic powers, about some of the, like the ancient race that's living on the planet, the Lemorn, everything like that. And then we saw a preview of the new suit, the Viola suit, at the very end of that trailer. And, then we learned that it would be a Switch 2 game as well. I was upset by that, obviously, because I wanted it to just be on the Switch 1. I wanted it as soon as possible, basically. So I expected it to come out on the Switch 1, and then it would get a Switch 2 edition when the Switch 2 came out. But no such luck. Apparently, they were just like, actually, we're not releasing any games for April and May. Like between when they announced the Switch 2 and then when it came out, they just were like, yeah, we're not releasing anything. Actually, Wyatt, you're gonna have to wait until December for this game to come out. So I got the third trailer, which was in the September Direct, and this is when there was like some light bickering amongst the fan base about like, oh, is it two different operating mechanisms and open doors, haha, this game is boring. A little bit of that, but for the most part, people were excited for it. And
is that the one where Samus got a bike?
Yes, the third trailer in September was when the bike was revealed in the desert, which we know is Soul Valley now, and that began the like. That was like a pretty big shift in public opinion of people that both fans and like kind of onlookers being like, this isn't Metroid. How dare they add in the dreaded open world into Metroid? My opinion, and I'll keep iterating my opinions at this point when we get to these, when we talk about this and then the current controversy, is that I would prefer if the game had a design that was more similar to the first Metroid Prime, where all the areas are very like closely connected. They're interconnected so that there's like multiple ways between certain levels to get to them. Just the more traditional Metroidvania style design. Prime 2 kind of took it away from that and had a central hub area and then 3 offshoot areas that you go to at like certain parts of the game. And you basically like complete one area and then go to the next one. Very Zelda
Yeah.
dungeony or Zelda area kind of style. And then Prime 3 was big enough that it had to separate them all into different planets. So there wasn't even a hub world. It was just like you're on a planet, you're separated from that. And even within the planet, a lot of times you have to travel from one fast travel point to the next, like with the ship. So it led to, while a great game, like I love Prime 3, it was a very disconnected feeling game. And it did have those Metroidvania elements, but the constantly getting to the ship and having to either go to another part of the planet or go to a different planet to find the way forward could lead to this kind of disconnected feeling. So I get the concern that people had for putting this gigantic open zone section. A lot of people thought that meant the game was open world. I think if they had just watched the trailers, they would understand it wasn't an open world game, that it was still like a normal Metroid Prime game. It just has this section in the middle.
Yeah,
But
kind of
obviously a
like
lot of
the Wild
mm,
Area in Sword and Shield, where that's not an open world game, but there's like an open world segment to just stick around in for a bit. Like,
yes, or even Zelda with Hyrule Field or Termina
yeah,
Field
that
or
too.
whatever, like that kind of stuff. You know, the Great Sea from Wind Waker. Uh, It's like examples of those, and it definitely feels like, from what we know now, that it's very similar to the Great Sea, even with the idea of going and finding basically shrines, like Zelda style, shrines or mini dungeons, when you're traveling about the desert. Um, and so for me, like I said, I would prefer it if it was interconnected like Prime 1, but I kind of suspected they probably weren't going to do that just because uh, another game that did something like that recently was Resident Evil 7. And I love that game, but it's a very small scale game.
Yeah,
And people don't want that for Prime 4. I would be fine with that, but a lot of people would be very disappointed if we got a 5-hour game out of, with that
eight
tech and
years of
everything.
waiting.
Yeah, so this is more like Resident Evil 8, where you have that central village area, and then, there's the castle and the factory and things like that are the more traditional, Resident Evil exploration, find a key, go here, zones. Um, that, at least that's what I expect from what we've seen. So at this point, I'm okay, I kind of see where people's coming from, but I think they're being a little bit knee jerk, a little bit overreactive. This will become a thing, in soon. And then, I mean, it'll become a thing with the most recent trailer where, we got the overview trailer at the same time as we got some new previews. Now, from what I gather from the discourse online, a lot of people thought the overview trailer was cool. I'm looking at it on uh, YouTube right now, and it has a shit ton of views, which is surprising for something Metroid Prime 4 related. It has 800,000 views in a couple days. It does have a notable amount of dislikes at 2,000, but it has 37,000 likes. So it seems like the people that are disliking it are probably just people after the fact that are coming to say no, and get angry about what I'm about to talk about. But the overview trailer, it's 7 minutes. It just explains stuff that we kind of already know. And the big new thing is the introduction of companion characters. So at certain points in the game, you'll be teaming up with other members of the Galactic Federation who got marooned on the planet as well, and do a little set piece section with them. So there's a section with a giant robot guy who shows up in the ice area or whatever, and he helps you for a bit. He can break open giant walls that you can't with your weapons. There's the section at the beginning with the mechanic where you need him. He's not a fighter, but you need him to repair certain things. So like you're tagging along with him and you're defending him and everything. There's a section with like a sniper guy and you're fighting like a horde of monsters. So like yeah, just these little story set pieces, kind of similar to what we saw in Prime 3 with the hunters in that game. Um, just with like the Galactic Federation troops, like these more unique troopers. The problem is that the preview came out showing the section with the mechanic, which is the first section in the game. And this guy, Mackenzie, or Miles Mackenzie, his full name, as everybody calls him by his full government name, um, he is a very obnoxious character in the sense that, like, he talks in a kind of in a way that doesn't really fit in with the tone and the vibe of Metroid in a way that really turns people off.
Yeah,
And
I've been hearing lots of people saying like, "Oh, Josh Whedon Marvel movie," like in
yes, like a lot
response.
of people saying like, "Oh, it's MCU dialogue, it's fucking Josh Whedon, it's Buffy speak, etc." And I can see where they're coming from with that. I'll talk about some of my own, my like counterpoints or whatever to that as we go. But just establishing that it's like, guy shows up, like, and you're in Viros, you're in like the Fury Green area, and you're exploring, but while you're doing it, you have a guy who's kind of like commenting on things as you're going along. Now, what he's not doing is solving puzzles for you, which I've seen a lot of people compare it to like God of War Ragnarok, where if you're at a puzzle for too long, Atreus will be like, I think you should do this, you stupid asshole. And that's not what's happening. He doesn't tell you how to solve any puzzle. People have even talked about like, yeah, I was stuck at this one section for a while and he just didn't say anything. So I think people were like wrong about that.
Yeah.
And it's like it just turns out like other people that have like played the preview. The problem is what happened, and this, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial here, but VGC released an article that was very negative, and that was the first one that I saw that like really blew up. That was like, because I woke up, I watched the overview trailer, I felt nothing but joy in my soul. I watched the Giant Bomb preview, in which they played that same portion of the game. They voiced their concerns about this character, but were overall like, like, yeah, it's just like a small section of the game, and it's like by the end of it, you kind of feel some camaraderie with this guy. Um, and then I went on Bluesky and saw, people doom posting about that article. I saw a lot of my friends and mutuals and everything clowning on the game and, saying like, oh, Metroid's dead forever, etc. I saw a lot of people that were otherwise very hyped for the game look at it and be like, oh, this isn't Metroid. I'm not going to buy it. I saw some people make it about the price for some fucking reason, of course, because people are
As usual.
always mad about the price. So they're like, this would have been fine if it was a $50 game. Like, no, shut the fuck up.
like that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
this ain't Poketopia. This shit ain't
Yeah, exactly.
Poketopia.
Like, this isn't like, I get being mad about buying Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for $70, but like, this isn't about that, okay? This is yeah, whatever. But so I was kind of like, I was pretty frustrated when I first saw that. So I think I made like a very frustrated post of like, oh, I'm just so sick, because I was just genuinely, I was sick that every time that there was a new trailer, there was some stupid like hang up, like, oh, it's too similar. Oh, there's psychic powers. That's the only new thing that they're adding in. Oh, they added in a bike. Now it's too different. Oh, now there's the troopers. Oh, they're focusing on the story. It's gonna be Other M again.
Yeah.
Just like
Like from an
bam, bam,
outsider
bam.
looking in, it just kind of seems like
Uh,
this is just me general with like games, like also with the Zelda discourse, because like I like
mhm.
Metroid and Zelda, but I'm not like a diehard for them.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
just seems like the quote unquote like this like expectation of what's a Zelda game or what's a Metroid game
Uh-huh.
is like super dumb. And I don't like. I
Yeah.
just feel like just
It's
judge the games as designed
right.
games. Just
It
like
feels very like performative in a
yeah,
way because they like, and there's a lot of elements of this that I feel like are very performative, but it feel like what I mean by that is that they have this type of game that they like. They've built up all the reasons in their head. This is why I like this game.
yeah.
You know, they
They're
have these
not
pillars.
open to any other reasons.
Yes, they're pillars of design that are like marble in their brain that cannot be deconstructed or pushed or moved or anything. You know, for Metroid, for Zelda, for whatever, for Mario. Um, you know, and that can lead to a lot of things. Like that can lead to people being very mad about like Mario 3D World or something like that for not being exactly like Mario 64, you know, or can be mad about Mario Odyssey for not having like the same good level design as Mario 3D
Or for
World.
having a different philosophy on collectibles, like because
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like people being like, you know, like when Bonanza came out, I saw a lot of people kind of throw out Odyssey and be like, this is obsolete now. And it's like this no,
no,
it's like they are companion games, but like that game is still good. Like
yeah,
that game is still like really good for what you know, for what it's going for. Same thing with Bonanza. Um and like yeah, it's just always been the case with Metroid as well. And it's just weird to me to see this in real time again after years of kind of dealing with it because like games like Fusion, games like Prime 2, Prime 3 obviously, you know, and then like other like less loved games like Other M and Federation Force all got slapped with the this isn't Metroid label. Uh you know, because they had these arbitrary ideas of what the series was and what it's supposed to be. Problem is, now Fusion is considered a beloved masterpiece. You know, I always loved it, but you know,
same.
now as the wider fandom loves it, I see a lot of people that like it more than Super because they're not married to the idea that Super is the be all end all for Metroid
Mhm.
games. I see a lot of people that think Dread is better than Super because, you know, they just can't get into this an older game with the worst controls and everything like that. You know, I see a lot of people say that like Prime 2 is better than Prime 1 because, you know, it has a more focused narrative, a more interesting aesthetic, you know, like cooler levels and everything like that. They have all these reasons, you know, that it's like, yeah, I can take the good with the bad. Like these things, this is a trade-off from what was good about this game, but they're introducing a lot of interesting elements to it. Uh the problem is in this case with the character of Mackenzie, like I do kind of agree that he is like a pretty annoying addition in the sense that it's like why did they have to have this like they could have like conveyed the idea of like a wimpy mechanic guy who's not good at fighting but he's good at fixing stuff without making him like you know like people have said a Tumblr millennial type, you know, whatever guy. um but I do think that people are going a little bit too far with their hatred for him, and I do think that like it does come off as so forced and so like
Yeah, like I've been
overreacting.
I've been thinking about this where it's like anytime a character tells a joke in like anything, people are like, "Oh, Reddit humor, Reddit humor." It's
Yeah,
like,
Reddit humor, it's Marvel, you know, etc.
yeah,
Like people were saying that about Expedition 33, you know, saying like that
yeah.
it's like all Marvel humor. Like, why would you want to play the Marvel humor RPG? You're like,
It's
oh,
like,
why did they put Marvel humor into the Final Fantasy VII remake?
yeah, it's like I don't know. These buzzwords are driving me nuts, man.
Yeah,
It's like,
and I've said this because you know, I've been talking about it a lot on family boards because I just don't want to talk about it on social media. So like, I have
back
been
to forums. Back
yes,
to
well, since about 2021, I've been posting or I've been like lurking on there, and then last year when the Prime 4 trailer came out, I decided to finally make an account and have been like consistently posting in there, posting my thoughts about Prime 4 and hopes and expectations and everything. And you know, every time there's a new trailer, I always think it's interesting to see like from the fans, like I would say most of the fans are usually like very accepting and positive about anything new, and then you have like some people that are a dissenting opinion, and sometimes it can get a little dicey with not respecting opinions and things like that, but you know, is what it is. That's the internet. The thing is, like I discussed a bit, that I feel like a lot of this venom, not only for this game or for like Marvel or Sony style writing or whatever, as well as the general like hatred and like anger at Nintendo that has been going on this year, has its roots in places like V. So it has this very toxic, reactionary vibe to it that is very cancerous to good discussion. And it makes it so that people that have otherwise good points can kind of come off like they're just regurgitating these like loser opinions from this very shitty website. So it makes it harder to like trust their opinions as genuine. Because
or just like the general grifter spears and shit.
Yes. You know, they use a lot of the same language. They complain about like soy faces and Sweet Baby Ink and, you know, the Jews and whatever else. Like that's what they're, you know, they're always talking about that. But you know, so like I'm rambling a bit, I guess, at this point, but I guess all I wanted to say is that like you know, it's like an interesting thing to detangle, you know, like because you go on the like talk to Metroid Prime 4 fans, you will find more people that are like excited about it than not. You know, like at least like in this form and in all the YouTube videos that I watched, the previews and everything, even like all of the previews that I watched besides the VGC one were positive about every element except for the companion, and a lot of them didn't have the context of the overview trailer, which described the fact that it would be like, oh, occasional segments in each area where you have to work alongside one of the Federation troopers. They thought this guy was your one companion through the whole game.
Like I saw a lot of misconceptions about that, where it's like, oh, he's gonna be there throughout the whole game, and I'm like, no,
yes. So a lot of people have even been talking about like comparing him to like Navi or Fi,
which is a crazy comparison. It's like this one-off nerd compared to Midna, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and again, I really don't want to make it sound like it's cope, but he really is. You're only like doing an escort mission with him for like 15 minutes of the game, like a very short portion. It's like
an 8-10 hour game, you know?
Yeah. And again, like the other guys, I assume it's a similar portion of the game where they have like a section of the world that's sort of carved out for like, all right, here's this set piece, here's, you know, like playing with this guy, fighting a bunch of guys, you know, etc. Maybe even doing all the boss fight footage we've seen, you've been doing it on your own, so I don't think that they're helping you against any boss fights. Maybe like mini bosses or something like that at a certain point, but
at this point I'm just waiting for the full game to come out and just get my hands on it myself and just
that is how I feel, because I can see this clashing with the overall vibe, but I'm gonna be real, it doesn't bother me as much as a lot of people. Like I said, I concede that I think that the character is kind of annoying, but I don't find him like unfunny, and I don't find him like that he ruins the vibe of the game. Like I did watch Arlo's video about the situation, which is just titled "This is a Nightmare," which is like, I think even he mentioned that it's a very knee-jerk emotional video that he made, you know, just to get his thoughts out, and that his thoughts could change. But he was very insistent that, like, it doesn't matter if this is only a small section of the game. The fact that it's in the game at all kind of, like, ruins the dignity of the game. And I just don't really agree with that, because
I always think of games like, maybe this is just my stupid brain, I always think of games like TV shows where it's like, yeah, even if you have a bad episode or bad level, you
Mhm.
get if the rest of the game is still like, if you're still enjoying yourself, it's like, yeah, you have this weird one-off part where it's like, that was weird. All right, let's move on
Yeah.
to the actual good
Mhm.
stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
Maybe
I remember in Bonanza there was like, oh, there's some layers that were either like
just too short.
nothing, yeah, too
Yeah,
short, or like this sucks, like this,
yeah,
or whatever, like just had like an annoying gimmick to it, but like
mm,
overall very positive on the game.
yeah,
It didn't really bother me. And in this case, like the thing is, like, a lot of people are like, why are you, like, if you accept that he's bad, then why are you fucking blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't even, like, I personally, it just doesn't bother me. It just doesn't, like, it really doesn't phase me because all of the surrounding footage of the game, including the stuff with the other troopers, looks so gorgeous and so beautifully rendered and everything like that, and so right. It just feels like I'm just so excited to play this game
yeah,
that it would take like a racist caricature or
yeah.
like homophobic or something like that to show up for me to be like, all right, I'm not interested in this game. Like if the game was like, this was created entirely in AI, then I would stop being interested in the game. But like one kind of annoying guy showing up at the beginning, like in the tutorial level, and
Yeah,
being like, yeah, you can use missiles to like knock back enemies, and people are like, how dare he tell me the puzzle solution? Which is like just so overreacting. That's what I'm saying. It feels like just overreacting for the sake of wanting to be mad about
yeah.
something, wanting to like channel that rage into something, and it's just like it
I don't
comes
know.
off as so forced and artificial.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't feel like natural rage. It just feels like, oh,
yes,
rage for the sake of rage, and I
yeah,
think that's a good. I don't know. This section's been going on for a
right, yeah.
while.
Well, hey, you wanted to know my? I had a lot of thoughts, baby.
Yeah, yeah,
I
true.
guess
True. I
I'll
wanted. I should have known.
yes,
I should have known. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have Wyatt talk about Metroid Prime 4. That surely
yes.
will take like 30 minutes max.
Right. I mean, hey, I think it was like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
But
it felt like an hour. But it's like
right.
that just might. I have no sense of time. I have no sense of time. So
Yeah.
that's not
So
your
so
fault.
I'll just wrap it up with these thoughts. Metroid Prime 3 started with a 90-minute action movie, very linear level design, literally three Marvel characters that speak in nothing but quips and one-liners show up and help you the whole time through like this first section of the game. Like literally like Ben 10 action figure characters like show up,
That's
and like,
awesome.
so it's like there's that, like, as far as
Yeah.
like if you want to talk about like ruining the fucking quiet sadness of Metroid Prime,
Yeah.
or whatever, like. And I love Prime 3. And I think that that's like a cool section of the game, but it's like also a very goofy and corny section
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, they're trying to make it like Halo, on the Wii. So but it also has all these like other elements of like, like I said, like sort of superhero movies and things like that. And then I've also seen very quick, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before like moving on. I've seen a lot of people that talk about like comparing it to the Hollow Knight games and saying
What?
like imagine if this had like comic relief. And I'm like, it does.
There's doing
Not
jokes.
okay. Yeah, not only is there comic relief in both of the games, first of all, Silk Song has maybe like literally 10 times as much story as Hollow Knight does in it, as well as like NPCs. The first NPC you encounter is the funny singing guy with the hitting the chime like in front of the door. That's like one of your first obstacles in the game is like helping this guy out. Um Zote, just the entire character of Zote in the first
Yeah.
game is just like a very comedic, character, and also a very meta character because he looks like, the joke is that he looks like a shitty version of you,
Yeah.
and is like a complete loser. There's the dung defender who gives you the fart badge. Like there's like, don't treat these games like they're these like super dark, serious, moody games exclusively, because I do think that they are dark, serious, moody, all those things, but they have this levity to them, and that's fine. And I've always said, like, I kind of wish that if we do get a Metroid 6, they could take some cues from Hollow Knight, and maybe even incorporate the idea of like more like integrating NPCs like
Yeah.
sporadically into the environment. I think Prime 4 is doing basically what I was thinking that something like Metroid 6 would have done.
Yeah.
By being like, all right, you're in an area, you're exploring. Every so often, you find a guy, you help them out. You
Yeah.
know, again,
I
do a
was
section,
thinking
and then
like
they're like,
that
"We're
that
going
one.
back to the base. You know, join us at the
Yeah.
halfway point of the game or
I
whatever."
was thinking like
Yeah,
that one section in Super Metroid where you save those little critters and they escape at the end. Like they just make a whole
yeah,
mechanic revolve around that in the
yeah.
next
No,
2D
no,
one.
that's why I posted on Twitter or on Bluesky a
Oh,
clip of when you first meet the Edacoons, which are the little monkeys that cartwheel. The quiet sadness of Super Metroid, because like people keep on being like, you know, this is like one of the most dark, moody games ever made. And like, there's a lot of like goofy shit in
yeah.
Super Metroid. That's what makes it so good,
It's
is the
balance.
contrast.
It's
Yeah,
balance.
like yes, you have this like dark, moody thing, but then every so often you find this like weird, silly thing or a lighthearted thing, and that's profound, you know. Now, I'm not saying a guy talking about, you know, Phil that works alongside him at the cubicle is profound, right? Like I said, I agree. I think that it's like, why is this annoying guy in the game? But it's like such a non-issue as far as like, okay, whatever, you know, on to the next part. It's not really like ruining my sense of discovery or exploration or whatever, especially because he's not really involved in like helping you with puzzles or anything. He just is, you know, along with you for like a straight path through like a certain section of the game. So that's my opinion. If anybody was curious, very long-winded, but I just wanted to work out a lot of feelings that I had been like untangling in my head the past few days. So it's like I can see why people are concerned about this or about the bike or whatever. I don't have those concerns personally. These things don't really bother me. I am actually pretty curious about those elements, like the story, and you know, like how is the exploration in the desert going to work. uh all of those things are things that I'm excited to learn about, and everything else that has been like the more traditional Metroid Prime gameplay is perfect. It looks literally perfect, so it's just can't really like dampen my mood. And I did have like a little bit of a come to God moment when I saw a lot of people clowning on it, and I was fine with it, where it's like, do I just have bad taste? You know? Like if you've ever felt like that when like
Yeah, 100%.
where like you like something and you sort of just don't even think twice about it, and then you kind of see people clowning on the thing and you know,
I've had that with
putting it
literally every Kamen Rider series that has come
right.
out since Geo.
Yeah. And it's just like, is my taste bad? You know, like whatever. And then I sort of had to be like, no, it's just my
Yeah,
like it's just my taste, you know, like I'm just not the type of
yeah,
person who gets upset about, you know, there being jokes in God of War or whatever. Like I really
yeah,
like those games. And it is what it is. So yeah, I say to people that are like freaking the fuck out about this, maybe take it down a notch. Maybe it's
yeah,
not that big of a deal, honestly. You know, this is a video game. Also, you know, this like it's but I also think that when the game comes out, genuinely I believe this, it will speak for itself, you know. So if it's good, it'll be good. If it's bad, it'll be bad, you know.
yeah.
So I
We'll
think
see.
that but I believe it will be good, and I think that all of the complaints will just fade away like tears in rain. So all right, do you have anything you want to talk about?
A few things, like I
Yes.
had a few things, like I'm not sure if we can get to all of them. I actually had another Nintendo topic prepared. I don't know if I want to
Oh,
go
cool.
into it right now, but you know what? I'll go into it. You know, let's make
Yeah,
this a Nintendo cast. We
please.
Nintendo boys. The
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy movie trailer that came out, and I just
Nice.
wanted to just because I'm both a movie and a Nintendo guy, so I wanted to just kind of
Right.
like talk about these Nintendo movies that have been coming out. Also, apparently the Zelda movie is starting to film, but like,
Starting to shoot, yeah. There's
yeah,
Bigfoot footage of like Zelda on a horse or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
looks fine. I mean, I wait till the entire movie's filmed until I
right.
judge anything.
Yeah.
Uh, so I guess I just want to talk about this Mario Galaxy movie because it basically kind of feels more of the same to
Mhm.
as the first one, and I don't know how I feel about that because I like the first one. It's like fine. It's like
Yeah.
7 out of 10 popcorn entertainment. Like
Right.
it's like I clapped when I see the thing, and it's like yeah I like the
Right.
thing. Yeah, it's like it's very much that kind of movie, but it's like, it's a well done version of that. It's like there's funny
Mhm.
stuff. Chris Pratt as Mario still sucks. I like he did. I think in my original review I said, oh, he did a fine. No, he kind of still sucks. It's just like he's
Yeah.
a bit more tolerable than the trailers made him out to be. But it's
Yes.
still a terrible. It's still terrible. I don't like it.
Mhm.
I was actually listening to you and Nikki like on an old shit shooters episode talk about
Right.
the cast when the cast of the
Uh-huh.
Mario movie got revealed, and that was like really funny contrast, just really funny. It's like
Yeah.
you guys are being like I was expecting, these guys are gonna go overreaction like all the rest of the internet was. I was like, yeah, no, yeah, you were pretty like calm about it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's funny. Yeah. I can't even remember, like I think my initial reaction it wasn't until I saw Jack Black as Bowser that I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, because I was watching the direct like on my phone at work or whatever that
yeah,
day, so it was
yeah,
just like,
that also just didn't help. The images were funny. Anyway,
yes,
Mario
yes,
Galaxy movie. Basically, like I see some people complaining. It's like, oh, it's not just Mario Galaxy. It's like Odyssey. It's like the
hmm
freaking Sunshine. And I'm like, I
that's
honestly
cool.
don't mind that. I don't mind that because it's like, well, it's like the first movie was a bunch of 2D games combined into one feature
Yes,
film fan
uh-huh,
service. This is clearly a bunch of the 3D games combined into one feature length fan service. I kind of wish we
hmm
saw some Mario 64, but like, if the rumors are to be believed, this movie's gonna be packed already. So, uh,
yeah, hmm
it's like apparently, like we already know Yoshi's gonna be in it. Wario's rumored. I don't know.
That'd
And
be
then like
interesting to see.
yeah, like Wario and Mario Galaxy. I don't know how. Like, I get these are just like popcorn. Like, oh, look at the cool Marvel. Just a bunch of your favorite characters in one thing
Right.
doing like Hollywood shit. That's kind of the appeal of these movies are to me. Like, I
Yeah.
think
How do you feel about Elimination in general, like as a studio?
they're okay. I don't like Sing. I think Sing is kind of boring.
hmm
Um,
That's
my
probably the
great
only one I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's fair, that's fair. I remember in that podcast episode, you were like, "Yeah, Sid's pretty alright."
Yeah.
I
I enjoyed
like
it.
the first the Despicable Me's are just they're kinda like, the same level as a Mario movie to me, where it's like, I
Sure.
know
Yeah.
these aren't great, but I enjoy
I
Gru,
like the first one. I kind of like the second one.
and
And I
then, like,
never
the rest are
saw.
just popcorn. The rest are just popcorn
Yeah.
entertainment for me. It's
hmm
just like I haven't even seen 4. I just like, if they're on, I
Yeah.
watch them. Like that's kind of like what they are. They're just like okay, like these aren't deep at all,
hmm
but they're silly enough that I'm like, you know what, the kids will be all right.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
think
ever like
their
it's
Seuss
better than
movies
open
are kind
season.
of.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Seuss movies are awful. The Seuss movies are awful.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. Like Lorax is okay. Grinch is just like, why did they do this?
Grinch is
Like
like
it
so
feels.
forgettable. I saw that shit in the
Yeah.
theater. And I don't remember
Yeah.
anything about it other than
Mhm.
there was animation.
Yeah, I actually have not seen the Mario Bros. Movie. I have not seen the
Oh,
original one,
like the live
just
action
because I
one?
was no, well, yes, I have seen that. I mean
Okay.
the Illumination one. I think it
Yeah.
was just so depressed that year
Oh yeah,
because it was right
2023 was
after.
awful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because it was right after Nikki had passed away, so I was just like, ugh, I'm not in a mood to watch the Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Movie. So like when like a couple months later, a friend moved back into town who was like gone for a few years, and like we reconnected. And I told him like, yeah, I haven't seen that movie. He was like, what? You haven't seen that movie? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I still have not seen it, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I do want to check it out at some point.
Yeah.
It
Hey,
doesn't
maybe next.
look amazing, but you
Again,
know,
it's a spectacle movie. It's very much like it's all spectacle, not really any substance. Any little
yeah.
substance, you can glean little bits of substance, but it's not like
If you,
anything much.
if you want, we could do the Sonic
Oh,
movies and
oh,
the
that
Mario
would be a
movie
fun
as a
one. That would be a
yeah
fun
on
one.
the
I'm gonna put that on the list. I'm gonna put that on the list.
yeah. Mm.
Because I do. Have you seen the Sonic movies? Because
No, that's another thing where it's like that's where I would like have an excuse to watch them finally.
All right,
Um,
I'll put because like spoiler alert, we're gonna just do some movies for a while we figure out what
mhm.
to do.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
uh
until the next, maybe until Universe Warrior comes out,
yeah, we
whatever.
yeah, we'll figure. We're just the show's gonna be like kind of like whatever we're feeling that week, like
Mm.
just right now catch up. And I do want to watch. I do want to rewatch those Sonic movies because I do genuinely
Yep.
love those movies. So,
Mm.
I okay, yeah. I'll put those on the list. Yeah. So Mario Galaxy movie, it looks fine. Like it's just kind of
Yeah.
more of the same. Like I honestly, it. I've never watched a sequel trailer that I'm like, this is just legit, just more of the movie. And
Uh-huh.
that feels so weird because it's usually either like, oh, we're taking it to the next level, or it's ass now. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
It really does feel like they just rolled right into production on this one, like right after they finished the
yeah,
original movie. I
yeah,
will say that I do think people pointing this out, but like that scene of Bowser finishing the painting and then him like putting his hands on his head is like an amazing bit of character
yeah.
acting. Like
Oh
so
yeah.
I do have to give credit to Illumination. Like
Yeah,
I do
the
think that
character
they're
acting in these movies are good. Like again, the actual animation
yes.
is solid. It's just the actual things you're witnessing is like,
Yeah, like the art style I'm not crazy about for their movies and
yeah,
things like that, but the animation tends to be pretty good.
yeah.
Um
The movement is what
yeah,
I mean.
and then like yeah, the like I said, just like that moment of like inspiration and like, oh my god, I can't believe that, like putting his hands on his head, like I said, is like
Yeah,
that is such an amazing, like funny
yeah,
moment for like such a stupid painting, like when it's
yeah.
revealed like what he was painting. So it's like that's a good joke. How do you
Yeah.
feel about the voice for Bowser Jr.?
I was about to get to that. Benny Safdie.
Yeah.
I have not seen Uncut Gems yet, even though I am working
Hmm.
on an Adam Sandler video.
Right.
I've been working on Adam Sandler
Now
videos.
you watched
Uh,
Don't Mess with the
Yeah,
Zohan or
yeah, don't mess with the Zohan to like edit the James segment for it, or the Schaeferless segment for
mm-hmm.
it. And it's like, and then I just made my own video because it was like so
Yeah,
befuddled,
you're
and
like,
I
fuck
had
this movie.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, Benny Safdie. Yeah, I think his voice is fine. I don't know what he sounds like in real life, and I think the Bowser
Hmm.
Jr. voice is fine. I think it's like I think my more issue of Bowser Jr. is like when he's not in his like super sunshine painted form. His eyes, he looks like he took too much weed. That's yeah.
Uh-huh.
His eyes are bugging out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a weird ass design. And then
Hmm.
I actually like Brie Larson as Rosalina. I think that's a fun
Yeah,
pull for it.
that's cool.
I do wish Rosalina had a bit more of distinct features from Peach, but like, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
people have joked that like all the guys like Critical Drinker and things like that are going to be losing their fucking mind that like Captain Marvel, like this girl that they
Yeah,
already hated, is in the sequel to a movie that they were mad about because Peach was a girl boss. So
yeah,
like yeah, the dumbest YouTube guys are
yeah.
going to
I'm
be
gonna
very mad
yeah.
about Rosalina.
I
So
guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually like I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'll probably see the movie. I'm just kind of like it's not. I'm not expecting to be blown away. I'm kind of like trying to be like, yeah, this ain't gonna be Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. These aren't gonna be like
yeah.
masterpieces of level design and aesthetics and Yoshi awesomeness or whatever. It's just
Hmm.
gonna be like, yeah, these are just gonna be like a silly Hollywood blockbuster. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of my Mario Galaxy movie thoughts.
Nice.
Actually, they did reference Uncut Gems in the Nintendo Direct because Jack Black introduced Benny Safdie by saying he's an
Right.
uncut gem, which is kind of a wild moment when
Uh-huh.
you get down to it. Like,
Yeah, a lot of Nintendo stuff this week. Weirdly enough, with the with the Galaxy thing, the Pokopia trailer, and then the Prime
mhm.
4 trailer. So it's
The,
like multiple things in a row. And
yeah,
then Prime 4, I don't know if you know this, but they like introduced a thing called Metroid Monday. So I guess every Monday I guess
Metroid,
tomorrow we're gonna get like
yeah,
more news. So hey,
Metroid Monday. Hey, I'm down for a Metroid Monday. I'm
yeah.
down for a Metroid Monday.
uh,
Um, Anything else you got?
I
Like,
do. I have a much shorter topic
all
than
right,
the
what you
Prime
got?
4 thing, so don't worry. Beat Dragon Quest 2 HD.
Ooh, I heard
Um,
lots of good things about the two
yeah.
remakes specifically because I heard
Ooh,
like,
it is so good. I can't believe how much one, it's so much better, obviously, than the original. I think that still can stand on its own, just like the original Dragon Quest 1.
mhm.
But like if you were sort of like I don't know, it's sort of this game that's like a weird orphan in between the first one that established the formula and the third one that sort of like perfected the formula. You have like two that's kind of like this weird middle child. This one, I genuinely think that the HD 2D remake of it, as good as 3 was, which was like very high on my end of the year list last year, it's better. It is just the best game of the first 3 now. Um just because the way that they elevate the characters, like the 3 characters that were already in the game, they introduce a new fourth character who
Ooh,
was in the game originally. It's the sister of the Prince of Cannock, who is the guy with the red hair and the goggles, or the red hair and like the hat. The main character is the one with the goggles. Um, and so like his little sister like joins your team. So you have like a 12-year-old girl just like hanging out with you and is like doing shit, and sometimes she just like decides to do a move on her own without your input. Things like that, it can kind of fuck up during battles, but sometimes it can be really useful. But like yeah, all the characters are like actually pretty well defined. They're all given like stories and arcs and everything. There's a lot more added to the meat of the game. Probably the most surprising change that they made, that I really appreciate as a longtime tokusatsu fan, is the villains. They really
oh,
took the because the villain was originally Hargon, who was like this dark priest, and then you really you didn't encounter him, he didn't like attack you or whatever throughout the game. When you got to his final dungeon, you had to fight like 3 mini bosses before getting to him, and they were just like souped up enemies basically. So they took those characters, those monsters, and made them into real characters, as well as like adding in a fourth one to give us that nice 4 generals,
yeah, the
that's
Four
so popular.
Horsemen.
Yeah, that's very popular in like Japanese stuff. And you encounter them like throughout the middle portion of the game, like multiple times. Like they will like at key story moments, and like they ended up imbuing these characters that are otherwise like just generic Dragon Quest monsters colored differently, with so much pathos. Like they're still like evil monsters that need to be defeated, but there's like by the end of the game when you're like defeating them one by one, it feels a lot like you're at the end of like a Sentai series or something like that, and you're just like defeating each of the generals one by one, and there's a bit of a like sad respect for like defeating them. A few of them actually did end up making me cry.
Oh, damn.
Like the defeat of the character of Mariella and Pazuzu. Like those two bosses of them were like very emotional. Um, if anybody has played the game, my favorite of the 4 is Belial, just because he shows up the earliest. He's like the most directly involved with the plot. My least favorite is probably Atlas, who is the giant Cyclops guy with the club. And he's just cool. He doesn't really have like a deep personality, and you don't encounter him before the final dungeon until like very late in the game. So he doesn't have like that much of a presence like the other 3 do.
Ooh,
But yeah, I was
I really want to try this because I've been hearing so much good things about the two remakes specifically, and you're
yeah.
kind of selling me on it.
Yeah. And then of course the like I beat it. I beat the final boss and everything. And like in every Dragon Quest game, there's the like you get to go around the world and talk to all the NPCs. There's no monsters, etc. No like encounters. You can just like walk around freely. And like it was, you know, like one of the times in the series that like every single time you go to an area, there's like such an emotional cutscene of like talking to somebody saying like, "Yep, we finally defeated the monsters, we freed the world, etc." Yeah, I'm just seeing like all the different reactions to it, from like the funny to the interesting to the sad. Is just like I was like tearing up multiple times even during that portion of the game. And then yeah, I know that there's like a pretty substantial post game, and I know that like, or at least there's like maybe not a substantial post game, but there's like a few. There's like a dungeon post game, and then there's like you can refight the final boss, and it has like a more final form, and it's like kind of a big wrap up of all three of the HD 2D games. I'm gonna take a break from the game for now, just because like fighting liquid metal slimes for 2 hours straight to grind to like level 99 or whatever does
Yeah,
not sound fun. So I kind of want to move on to other games and like play a few shorter things before Prime 4 comes out. But yeah, that's just want to talk about that. Loved that game. One of my favorites of the year for sure. It'll at least
yeah.
be on my top five. So,
So I actually have a question because I have the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake.
mm.
What should I play first? Like, is there like an order I should play these games? Like, should I just play them in like one, two, three? Should I like just play like in release order of like, oh, the three
the
remake was first?
Yeah, so the intended order from the company is three, then one and two. Um, because two ends up as like a culmination of everything. The end of three actually ends with like a post credit stinger uh teasing two.
Ah,
So that's because it takes place in the past. So it has
okay.
like it has Hargon, the villain, being set up. Um, so I remember like playing that last year and like pogging when I got to that. I was like, oh my god! But I would say like if you're kind of pressed for time and you're really not in the mood to play three RPGs in a row, then just two is like kind of the cream of the crop.
All right.
And so I would say go and check that out. And then like
Yeah, because I'm
obviously you
already
can check
trying to
out.
play Silent Hill F, and like I'm trying to play through Chrono Trigger, so I'm already like kind of swamped with games, and now I'm like, oh, just
Yeah,
Dragon Quest is calling to me. Dragon
and it
Quest is
is like
calling.
it's a decently long game. It's like 30
Yeah.
something hours, I think
Oh,
it took me to beat. So it's you kind of have to be in that mood to like
yeah.
get into it. So like three, I think is pretty low investment as far as like there's not too much story in it, but it is like a pretty like entertaining, lengthy experience. And then one, they actually did add a lot of story to it, but it is a shorter game, and it's
Yeah, and I know
you're
it's just
just
one
one
party member.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so two, I think, is like that's where the sauce is. That's where all like the storytelling sauce. Like if you're like me and have been waiting for a follow up to Dragon Quest 11 for a long time, and we've kind of gotten it in fits and starts. Like Builders 2 had actually a lot of great story in it, and characters and everything, and then even like the Monsters game that just recently came out. But this is the first time since 11 that I'm like, oh, I love this whole cast. I love this world. All the like stories are so like engaging, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like one of my favorite Dragon Quest games now. Maybe not my absolute favorite. I think that's still going to be five. Just like it's just so good that I can't
Yeah.
imagine it changing. But it is up there with like 11 and 8 as far as like you can't go wrong with this
Yeah.
one.
I
So
definitely do want to try
yeah.
like because I've never finished the Dragon Quest, but I love what
Mm.
I've seen of the series, so I want to actually like get into it. But maybe I'll just get into these like I mean the 7 remake is coming out near my
Yeah,
birthday, so maybe I'll try to
absolutely.
like coming out like I'll just try to play
Mm.
these like remakes and then I'll get to 11 eventually. Because again, I talked about this before. I think I have the original version of 11. I don't have the S version that fixes the
Yes.
music, and I think
Mm.
I kind of want to get the fixed music version
Right. You don't want
before.
to listen. Yeah, like I said, I played just the original version, because that's all we had at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't really mind the shitty synth music, but I definitely would prefer the orchestral music if I played it again. So, I totally understand that. But anyway, that's all I got on that topic. If do you have one more, or do you want to just
Do I have one more? Nah, I think we can end it there. We can end it
okay,
there. All
cool.
right. Yeah, plug your stuff. Wait, no, there's only two of us here.
Right. The WASP Ranger, WACP Ranger, mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about videos I'm making and podcasts I'm doing. You know, I'm not going to be perusing the tags for Metroid Prime 4 at this point. Not just because on Twitter I'd rather kill myself than read all of the annoying people on there, but also for spoiler reasons. Like I don't want too much
Yeah.
more information, and I don't want like the game to like leak and for people to play it and like post like the final boss or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've just muted it on all the social media, but I probably still will bring it up every so often. So want more of my thoughts, go follow me there. Obviously, check out Cartoon Buffoons, which is my main thing right now. It's over on my channel. It's Only Magic. If you want to get episodes a week early, you can go on my Patreon. Also, It's Only Magic for $3. Right now, you can get, what is it? The first CN Reel episode. So if you want to hear us talk about Brain Rush and what's the fuck's the other Siders, then $3, boom, very funny episode. So I highly recommend it. But if
I can
you're
imagine all the CN Real episodes are gonna have some comedy to them.
And then like, yeah, what $1 you get Wild Cool Robot, me and my friend Wayne going through every robot in existence, doing like 5 to 10 minute reviews. It's a good time. But all right, how about you?
Hi, you can find my stuff also on Bluesky, but also on my YouTube channel, Buster Corp, where I do various video essays, analysis on various topics, usually weekly. Sometimes I take
Mm-hmm.
longer than a week, but it's pretty consistent. People have
Mm-hmm.
not complained, but like talking about like, damn, you upload a lot, and I'm like, yeah, because they're
Right.
only like 2 minute videos.
Uh,
They're pretty short. They're easy to make, but at least only by my standards. I know people struggle with 3 minute videos, but it's like that's a whole other
mm-hmm.
conversation. But yeah, if you want to see more of us yapping about various things, we're gonna have some very special topics coming up for the In Case Break Glass podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
very soon, I can tell you, next week is gonna be a doozy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to. I lost my trail of thought. Anyway, subscribe to Modular Media. That's the one I
Right.
was going to say. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this is where you can find this podcast and various other podcasts. Ooh, like
Oh
well,
shit.
sometimes featuring me, sometimes featuring other
Mm-hmm.
people. We just
Mm-hmm.
had Vangelis on
Yeah.
last week on the
Cool.
modular
Love that
components.
guy.
So yeah, he's a very fun guy to talk to. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of In Case Break Glass. We'll see you next week for a special episode.